The gospel message for this week comes to us from Luke 24, and it's the story of the road to Emmaus, where Jesus meets up with two people right after the resurrection who are talking about the events, and Jesus sort of appears to them walking along the road and has this interesting interchange. And let me read just a piece of it, and then we'll talk about it for a minute. Now, on that same day, meaning the day of the resurrection, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about a 7-mile journey from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went to them. But their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And Jesus said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you were walking along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have taken place in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" They replied, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who is a prophet, mighty in deed and word before the God and all people." And then they go on to tell about the story about what took place to Jesus. I love this. Jesus is walking along, and he comes upon these two people, and he asks them, what are they talking about? And one of them has the audacity to tell the Son of God, "Have you been hiding under a rock? Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem that has no idea about what's going on?" It's befuddling. It was to Cleopas. I don't think that Jesus is toying with them here. I don't think that was his intent at all. I think there was something else behind that is incredibly important. Actually, two things. The first is Jesus really wants to start where we are, and he wants to hear from us. And I love that. I mean, how awesome the thought that the second person of the Trinity stopped in the midst of this day of resurrection and simply wanted to have a conversation with these two people and wanted to hear from their hearts where they were and what they were interested in and what their view of these events were. Jesus always meets us where we are. And he wants us to know that we can come to him and just spill our lives, spill our words and what's going on in our reality, and he'll take it from there. That's the first thing that is amazing to me about this. The second is, I don't think, again, Jesus was toying with him. I don't think he was tongue-in-cheek. I don't think this was sarcastic. I think Jesus was trying to say, I'm going to stay in the present. Because right in the present, you're in the midst of the one who was resurrected and the one who has all the power to help you. And if you're so focused on past events, or you're so worried about the future, that you miss the present and the very hope that God provides. I think that's what the message Jesus was trying to tell them and to tell us through this. It's like, look, what things? The only thing that really matters is the thing that's taking place right now, because the present is the only gift that we have for God to do something in our lives. The present is the only moment that God has to bring us peace. The present is the only moment that God has to bring us healing and to give us purpose. Or we can hope for the future, and that can be something for us today. We can learn from the past, and that could help us today. But the present moment is the moment that God deals with. And it's why Jesus said, look, don't worry about tomorrow's troubles. They're going to have their own day. You focus on today. That's why he tells us that he's present, that it is God with us, that his name's Emmanuel, meaning the present moment is what God wants to use, and God will use to bring us relief from anxiety and help for our decisions and everything else that takes place. Let's not get so worried about tomorrow or caught up in what happened yesterday that we miss the very things that God wants to do for us right now, right here.